I want to give a quick but hopefully useful tutorial on using Git Bisect. This will be the first video of two on Git Bisect. The first one in this one will show using Git Bisect to fix a regression in some liquid/HTML code by stepping through the commits, refreshing in the browser, eventually finding it, and then fixing it. In the second episode of using Git Bisect, we'll use Git Bisect run, where you can run a script that gets automated as it runs through the Git Bisect. So you could write like an RSpec test or an automated test to run. But for now, I'm going to do this visually and show it in the browser. So I've been working on updating the Brettcodes blog to display the blog posts in a grid. And then all of a sudden, let's say I publish the changes, I notice that the links to the blog aren't working. I'm clicking, but nothing's loading. So if we inspect these elements, these anchor elements, the href is blank. This is a really good time to use Git Bisect when you know something worked before, right? I think that's a really common thing as a developer, especially if you're working with teammates. You go, I knew that worked. I've used it before. I've tested it before. I remember building it. Maybe it changed. Maybe you accidentally introduced a bug. Maybe a teammate did. It doesn't really matter. But Git Bisect is a really great way to quickly find what introduced the bug. And the benefit of using Git Bisect over just fixing it and moving on with your life is that it's quicker. It's kind of like, it can help you find a needle in a haystack. It can give you insight into who made the change so that you can talk to that person. If they're on your team or if it was yourself, you can better understand why you made that change. And then you can talk through it and more confidently fix the issue. So let's just get started with Git Bisecting. So the first thing you do is you take the branch you're on. I'm on a branch called Git Bisect tutorial for this. And you run Git Bisect start, which starts the whole process. And then you'll see here in my command prompt, it says that we're bisecting, so that we know we're bisecting. This starts the process. And then what you want to do is you take a commit that's bad, you mark it as bad, and then you go back in time, right? If you think of your Git history on a branch or on, specifically on a branch as this like linear history, you want to go back in time, find where it worked, and then you mark it as good. And then what Git does is it takes it, meets you in the middle of those commits. Let's say there's 10 commits, it'll meet at commit 5. You can then mark if it's good or bad. If it's bad, but we know that commit 1 is good, then it'll bisect between 1 and 5 and keep doing that process until you find the commit that introduced the bug. Now with 10 commits, that'll go pretty fast. With 100 commits, it still goes pretty fast because you're able to determine what's good and bad and then mark it. So anyways, let's get started. So we know that this commit that we're at is bad because we tested it. Now if we git log, we'll see a bunch of recent commits that I made. Add spacing between the blog posts, increase font size, display blog posts in a grid, center blog posts, fix about page typo, specify image for link tree post, more monoso cleanup. That's where I made some branding changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that commit SHA, copy it, and then I'm going to check out just that commit. Git then says you're in a detached head state because we checked out just a specific commit. That's A-OK. I'm going to go back to my browser and refresh, and then we'll see, okay, let's see if the anchor has an href. Okay, the anchor has an href. We can click it, it works. We lost the grid styles because we're back in time, right? We've gone back to a previous commit, but the links are working. So then what you do is you mark it as Git Bisect good. Git takes that, and then as soon as you mark it bad or good, Git then takes that and says, okay, let's bisect. And it says 3 revisions left to test after this, roughly 2 steps. And then it checks out the next commit that it then bisects. Fix about page typo. And then you can see here in my prompt, it changed to 757F220, which if we show that, you can see what the diff is, which is useful just to know where we are. But then you just go back to the browser, refresh. Sometimes refresh a couple times, make sure the cache is cleared. Okay, the href is still there. We can click the blog posts. All right, so that's a good one. You do git bisect good. It checked out another commit. Bisecting 1 revision left to test after this, roughly 1 step. We've got this new E63127 that were checked out. Go to the browser, refresh. Let's look and see. Okay, the href is blank, so it's broken. We click it and it's not working. So you mark that as bad. Now Git says bisecting 0 revisions left to test after this, roughly 0 steps. So it's likely going to say that this is the final one to test. There are no commits to bisect through and test. Center blog post in B0557 is the commit shell. Go back, refresh. Let's look here. All right, no href. We click it, not working. You say git bisect bad, and then Git goes and tells you B0557 is the first bad commit, and then it actually outputs the info of that commit. Center to the blog posts. Remove bullet disk list style since it looks goofy with the centered list items. Okay, so I made that change. I'm the author. And if we show that commit, we can see what changed. So I styled some an element, and then I made some changes on the blog HTML, and you can see here post permalink changed, post URL changed to post permalink. So that must have broke it. Now this seems a little trivial and trite because I manufactured this scenario, but these kind of visual bugs, or where the behavior changed, you go through commit by commit, mark good or bad. Git does the bisecting for you, and you just go to the browser and refresh, and you get in that flow, that cycle of testing, marking as good or bad. Git moves on to the next one, etc. And then what you can do is, okay, we know that this is the bad SHA. We also can open up blog HTML, and we can find permalink. Okay, so we're going to change that to URL. But we're still bisecting. You can see that here in my prompt. So what you want to do is exit the git bisect by doing git bisect reset. And now we're back where we started, which was the head of this git bisect tutorial. So if we refresh, we've got the grid back, but we've got the bug still. I'm clicking these and it's not working, right? The href here is blank. So then what we want to do is just change this to be URL. Come in here and refresh it. You'll see that the href is now present and we've got our grid. Clicking the links works. So we fixed the bug. You can then go and commit that. Fix regression with blog, we'll say blog index, anchor hrefs. Fixes, issue, introduced in, oops, I like to take the commit that was bad and reference it, just so that there's a paper trail. So we'll say fix issue introduced in that commit, B0557, that improperly output the post URL. Write that commit and save it. Now if we get log, we've fixed the bug. This, like I said, this scenario, especially when you're by yourself working individually, may seem a little trite, but I think that that flow of doing git bisect start, then marking as git bisect good, git bisect bad, finding it, and then doing git bisect reset covers the basic scenario of it. And it's really useful If you're working with teammates, you can do it together while you're pair programming to find the issue and then more quickly fix it. I mean, just imagine, even where I work, we have a team of about a dozen web developers, web application developers, and people are working on various things at different times, and not everyone can keep up. Like, I don't keep up with every single change of code. So it's sometimes a bug will get introduced, and that's okay. That's part of the deal with software development. And then it'll go out to production. It'll get reported through the support team, and then we have to go to fix it. We want to fix it in a timely way so that we can help our customers out. So then Git Bisect is this way to go, okay, I know that 3 days ago this was working well. Let's set that as the good one, and then we'll bisect our way, find the bug, and then fix it. And it's such a quick tool for fixing bugs, especially when you feel a little bit of time pressure and sensitivity. It's a really great tool to have in your tool belt. When you do Git checkout, you can check out specific tags if you tag your releases. There's lots of different things to do, and more to learn on Git Bisect. The Git docs are really great on it, and that covers a visual change, which usually involves refreshing in the browser or like rebuilding your application and testing it out, which can be a slow and cumbersome process. So in the next Git Bisect episode, we'll do Git Bisect run, where we can run a Ruby test against some server-side code or some non-visual code, and we'll find and fix a bug that way. That's it for now. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a good one. All right, bye.